In 1372, Jan Hus was born in the village of Husinec, nestled in southern Bohemia. Not much is known about his parents or siblings, but his early life was likely marked by the hardships common among rural families of Bohemia. Around 1380, Hus moved to Prague to begin his education at the University of Prague. In 1393, Hus earned his Bachelor of Arts from the University of Prague, and by 1396, he had completed his Master of Arts and begun teaching at the university. In 1400, Hus was ordained as a priest in the Roman Catholic Church, an institution which he would soon seek to reform. In 1402, Hus was chosen to serve as the rector of the Bethlehem Chapel in Prague, where he began delivering sermons in Czech, breaking with the Latin tradition to connect with the common people. In 1403, Hus encountered the writings of English theologian John Wycliffe, whose critiques of the Church's corruption strongly resonated with Hus's views. By 1405, Hus was ordered by the Archbishop of Prague to stop spreading Wycliffe's ideas, but he continued his reformist preaching despite mounting pressure from church authorities. In 1408, King Wenceslaus IV of Bohemia offered support to Hus, defending him from growing accusations of heresy and allowing him to continue his work. In 1409, the Decree of Kutna Hora was issued, giving Bohemian scholars control over the University of Prague. That same year, Hus was elected rector of the university. In 1410, Pope Alexander V issued a papal bull condemning the teachings of Wycliffe, but Hus refused to comply. In 1411, Hus publicly denounced the sale of indulgences, which the Church used to fund a crusade against Naples. By 1412, Hus's sermons against indulgences had gained significant popularity. They also led to his formal excommunication from the Church. In 1413, while in exile, Hus published his most famous work, De Ecclesia, on the Church, where he sharply criticized the papacy and advocated for Christ as the true head of the Church. In 1414, Hus was summoned to the Council of Constance to defend his views, but upon arrival, he was arrested despite the promise of safe passage from Holy Roman Emperor Sigismund. In November 1414, Hus found himself imprisoned in Constance, enduring harsh conditions as he awaited trial for heresy. By March 1415, Hus's trial began, with charges of heresy leveled against him for his embrace of Wycliffe's ideas and his critiques of the Catholic Church. In June 1415, Hus was given a final opportunity to recant his teachings, but he steadfastly refused, asserting that he had only sought to reform the Church, not destroy it. On July 6, 1415, Jan Hus was burned at the stake in Constance, Germany, his martyrdom igniting a fire of reform across Bohemia and Europe. After his death in 1415, news of Hus's execution spread, fueling outrage in Bohemia and leading to the birth of the Hussite movement, a precursor to the Protestant Reformation. In 1417, Hus's followers, now known as Hussites, formally rejected the authority of the Catholic Church, further escalating tensions in Bohemia. By 1420, the Hussite Wars begin in Bohemia, sparked by Hus's martyrdom and his followers' desire for church reform. In 1457, the Unitas Fratrum, Unity of the Brethren, also known as the Moravian Church and one of the oldest Protestant denominations, was founded, inspired by the teachings of Jan Hus. In 1485, the Kutna Hora Agreement was signed, establishing religious peace between Utraquists, moderate Hussites, and Catholics in the Kingdom of Bohemia, allowing for mutual coexistence of both faiths. In 1517, Martin Luther published his 95 Theses, launching the Protestant Reformation. Luther recognized Hus as a forerunner to his own reformist efforts. In 1918, the newly formed nation of Czechoslovakia celebrated Jan Hus as a national hero, honoring his role as a symbol of Czech social reform and independence. In 1915, the Jan Hus Memorial, designed by Ladislav Salaun, was unveiled in Prague's Old Town Square to commemorate the 500th anniversary of Hus martyrdom. In 1925, the Czechoslovak Hussite Church was founded, directly inspired by the teachings of Jan Hus, blending elements of Hussitism and Protestantism. In 1999, Pope John Paul II expressed deep regret for the execution of Jan Hus, recognizing his contribution to church reform and acknowledging the injustice of his death. In 2015, the 600th anniversary of Hus's martyrdom is commemorated with events throughout the Czech Republic and beyond. Today, Jan Hus is remembered as a pivotal figure in the history of religious reform, serving as both a symbol of Czech national identity and a forerunner of the Protestant Reformation.